Right, let's see who's here. Let me get on the right page. Let me just get on. Let's see if anybody's viewing. There we go. Right, we're coming in. Oh, we're getting some people coming in now. I'll just give it a few minutes for you to come and join us. Okay. Lovely. Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, I've got lots out of my craft desk today. Oh dear. Who's looking forward to today? Look, doing a few tips and techniques. Hello, Jackie. Fabulous, you've found us. Hello, Sharon. Trying to get everybody in. I should have filled my water bottle up. Let me do it while everyone's just coming on board. Hi, Valerie. So I'm just filling my water spritzer up. So, hi, Karen. Hi, Pam. So, yes, don't forget, I'm using water spritzers and that here. And all the things that I'm using are available, well, apart from silly things like shaving foam and rock salt and things like that are available on the Pink Frog Craft Along section of the website. Hello, Alison. I'm just checking out if there's anybody. Hello, Gwen. Gwen's watching from Pink Frog HQ, and so is the lovely Claire. Good afternoon, Claire. Oh, Celia says, good afternoon from a chilly Bolton. Well, I must say, it's chilly here in Nottinghamshire as well. I went out earlier and I thought, oh, it looks quite a nice day, but it was not very warm. Hello, Wendy. Wendy's tuning in from France. So hello, Wendy. So great to see that we're going across the world, so to say. And don't forget, if you have missed this, that you can watch it back over on our YouTube channel. And you can watch any of the craft alongs over on Pink Frog YouTube channel. Okay, that's the nice thing about it. And if you go to the Pink Frog website and go to Craft Alongs with Claire and Dawn, you can also go back and watch back past craft alongs as well, so you're not going to miss anything. Or if there was a technique that you thought, oh, what was that technique that we did, or what was that card that was made, and what were the measurements, just go back and watch the craft along again, because the videos are there for you to see. So I think we've got quite a few of you tuning in. Good afternoon, Jules. The lovely Kimberly's on board. Hello, Val. Margaret. I'm trying to... Beverly, I've got quite a few of you coming in now. That is fabulous. And let me check on here. We've got Mo's watching. Great. Who's got a nice cuppa watching me? I've got my cup of tea. I don't think I'm going to get to drink much of it, but I'll have a quick sip now. So let me turn the camera around. Well, let me tell you first of all, I'm going to be doing all the techniques today with the lovely Super Smooth cards. So to anybody that's new to Pink Frog and doesn't know about our Super Smooth card, when you get it, the first thing you're going to notice is when you do touch it, and it does make you do this, that it feels like glass. That's how it feels. It is so super smooth, like it says on the tin. Very super smooth. Okay, so hello, Tracy. Hello, Katie. Katie's on the design team. Alison, we've got two Alisons spelt in different ways, and I'm checking on here as well. And we've got Sophie in. There's quite a few of you. So shall we make a start? So we're going to be using Super Smooth. Now we've got the A4 Super Smooth in a big box that's on the special offer for the craft along. Okay, so we're going to be using that. Now to show you today, I've cut mine down like an A4 sheet in quarters. And I've done that on purpose because I want to cram in as many techniques as possible. Okay, and I can do it in quick areas, so by having a smaller area, plus the fact I can use these after for backgrounds and card fronts, so they're not going to be wasted. Okay, so that's a little top tip. I also did ask out on social media if anybody had any tips or any techniques they'd like to see. And I have heard back from Jackie, Sue, Val and Jacqueline. And there's probably a few more of you as well. So if there's a particular technique you'd like to see with Super Smooth, I'll keep trying to watch the comments, but I'm going to try and get as many as I possibly can in. So I think without further ado, I'm going to flip the camera so we can get on with getting some crafting done. So bear with me while I pop this in my holster, which I have moved. See, I told you I've got lots of things on my craft desk today. So I'm going to bring the camera down a little bit as well. Let's hope that this all looks okay. Shining a bit. I've got my messy mat here from Crafter's Companion, from Pink Frog on my desk. I've got my glass mat, but then I've got my messy mat on the top. So it's going to help me keep any messy bits in control. And the great thing about the Pink Frog messy mat is it just wipes clean, which is great. I'm just looking at the camera angle. I think we'll come down that way a little bit because you can see my pot of water and my lid and everything else that's in the way here. I've got so much crammed on my desk. So I think that is looking a lot better. I'd like to come this way just a little bit. I want to try and get down as close as possible so you can see exactly what's going on. All right, so this is just some of the ideas that we can do. Now, someone did ask about colouring. I think it was the lovely Val asked about colouring a flower. Now, you can colour in several ways with your Super Smooth. Now, the nice thing about Super Smooth, this is just a few. This is just a few, okay? So straight away colouring. Now, I could spend a whole hour just showing you colouring with your Super Smooth, okay? That is the nice thing about it. But obviously that's going to take up too much time. I want to cram as much in as I possibly can. But I'm just going to walk you through some of these, and if we get a chance to come back, we will. Now, normally when you're colouring, you're either colouring with, say, a pencil or an alcohol medium, or a watercolour pencil or a watercolour pen, or ink pads. This being the case, you sometimes have to use different cardstocks. So if you're doing anything water-based, we say use watercolour card. The nice thing is, though, with the Super Smooth, you can do watercolour techniques, and you can also do your dry pen and pencil techniques. So straight away, this gives me, you know, a great opportunity that I haven't got to think when I'm picking up my colouring medium, what cardstock am I picking up? I haven't got to worry. Super Smooth will do your colouring pencils. No problem at all. Super Smooth will do your alcohol pen colouring. No problem at all. Super Smooth will do your watercolouring. No problem at all. It will do your pencils and then add in some watercolour to it. No problem at all. So, and then you can do your normal colour pencils, and then you can go in with your ink pads and spritz. So there are so many different ways to sort of share with you how you can do colouring. But I'm going to crack on with some of the other background techniques to start with, and we might have to come back and do a whole section just on things like colouring. Okay, so that might be something that we have to look into. So to start with, I've got all of these other techniques. This is the nice thing about Super Smooth. You can do so much with it. And I'm going to start straight off by bringing in a couple of distress inks. I've got my sponge tools here, and I know we've got these available from Pink Frog as well. Okay, these are my little sponges that I always keep in the bottom of mine. All right, so I'm going to bring these in. Now, when you're blending with one of these, the best thing is to sort of go from the edge of your paper and in. All right, so I'm just going to pick up some of my ink, and I'm going to go from the edge of the paper, and I'm doing sort of swirling motions. Okay, so I'm just piling on the ink. No problem at all. Now, lots of people say to me, oh, I can't do ink blending. You can do ink blending if you've got the right tools. And the right tools, one of the main things is the proper cardstock. But you can see how easily this is just gliding over. I'm not tearing at it. It glides over, an absolute dream. So now let's do a dual blend. Let's bring in another colour so we can blend the two colours together. I should just wipe down raggy old towel, just get that blue out the way because I don't want to transfer the ink there. Okay, so now I've got some of the pink. Again, I'm going from the edge and dragging it over the cardstock. Okay, and I'm just doing those lovely circular motions, and you can build up the depth of your colour, or you can keep your colour quite light. The choice is entirely yours, but you can do this. Now, I'm just using a water reactive ink, just the normal distress inks. Okay, so any water reactive ink will work. Now I'm going to blend these two together. So by going over, okay, we're just blending that over, and then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to bring my blue and blend back the other way again. Now, can you see that lovely blend between the two? It's seamless. It's not a dead stop. You haven't got to have a dead stop about it. You've got that seamless look that you can see with the blending. So straight away, that is your blending. Now, we can do blending with glycerin as well. We can do blending with water. So let's do some blending with water while we are here. Let me just wipe this up. So this time I've got my pot of water. Okay, and I've got a big paintbrush. Okay, and I'm probably going to bring in, I haven't got my other really big one, but I've got a medium-sized one, so that'll do. That'll be fine. So what we can now do is, if I put some ink on my mat, pick up my paintbrush, get the ink, and just, I'm doing like strokes, okay, across the page. So nice and loose. We're not painting the kitchen wall. We're having lovely loose strokes. But straight away you can see that beautiful coverage on the Super Smooth. No streaking, no pilling of the paper. And what we mean by pilling is, you know, sometimes when you, say if you've got a rubber and you rub it hard on your paper and you have those little pieces, that's what I'm talking about, pilling. We haven't got any of that going on. So now let's bring in another colour. So let's bring in that pink again. I've gone for quite strong colours so you can see it on the camera. I'm just hoping that paintbrush is clean of the blue. So again, just some water, picking that up, and I'm doing the same thing again. I'm doing quite fluid strokes, just over and over. So I'm actually soaking this paper quite a lot, but the Super Smooth paper can take it. And that is the nice thing about it. So can you see you're still getting a lovely, clean, even blend, even when you're doing loads and loads of water on it. Okay, so you've got that going on. All right, now another thing we can do while we got the water, I'm going to bring this one back in. We can do what's called a faux bleach effect. It's right, I've got all my cards here. I'm trying to make sure I get as many in as possible. So faux bleach, we're not using any bleach at all. We're only using water. Okay, so there's no bleach involved. You're just going to do a lovely background. Okay, and then you can take a paintbrush, you can use your fingers, whatever you wish, and then just tap on some water. Now, because we've used water reactive ink, what happens is this is going to bleach out the ink. Let me just bring it up to the camera a bit so you can see. So you can see the water on the paper there. Okay, so we've got ink down on the super smooth. We've now splashed water down on the super smooth. You can just see that there. All right, so I'm going to get myself a piece of kitchen paper that I've got just here. And just let it have a moment just to react with the ink that you've got on your cardstock. And then I'm just going to lay my kitchen paper on the top and just smooth it over. Now, when you smooth it over, can you see all the little dots that you've got on your kitchen paper? All this means is what it's doing is it's soaking it all up. Okay, so it's no problem at all. And then if I peel that back, there you have your faux bleach effect. So this is lovely if you want to create, say, a snowy background scene. Scene's the word I wanted. Snowy scene. If you wanted to create that sort of look, okay, or a starry sky, you can create that quite easily. So that is your faux bleach effect. Now, Mr. Pink Frog has just informed me as well, the deal that we've got with the A4 Super Smooth, okay, it works out at 10 pence a sheet. 10 pence a sheet. So I've cut my sheet in 4 and 4 again. So basically that's working out at 2.5p a sheet. Don't have half p's anymore. 2.5p for a little background like that to create on a card, sort of a roughly 6x4 card if you want to talk old money. So there's your faux bleach effect. So I'm just going to just stack these up over there out the way. So let's see what the next one is that I have got. Right, Pearlywink sprays. Now, who has got Pearlywink sprays? I'm just going to lay some out on the counter here for you. Okay, so now we had a collaboration with Pearlywink some time ago, and we've still got lots of Pearlywinks available. Now we can get them, I think Kimberly's going to be right in telling me we can get them in a bundle. You can go and buy a few individually as well if you like. So you can buy them individually as well. Now I'm just going to take a piece. I'm going to go big style now. So just bear with me because I'm going to have to cut one of my A3s. So we're going to use Pearlywinks. All right. So I'm going to do a large background this time because your super smooth will take lots of liquid fluids, things like that you want to do. All right, so I'm just going to move some things out of the way. Let me move my water pot. I'm going to have to put it down there because you know what's going to happen. It's going to end up going everywhere. I can just see it being a hot mess, definitely. So I've got a piece of the A4. So we're looking at our 10p a sheet one. All right. And we can take some of these colours. So I'm going to take the magenta, and I'm going to take, I think I'm going to take that one as well. Okay. Going to move these out of the way. This is where it could get really messy on my desk and on me, but bear with. So this is our lovely super smooth. So all of a sudden now we're going to create a decoration for a box. Now, you know, last week we had, I did boxes with you. Today, at the end, so stick right to the end, and I'm going to show you a different box you can do out of your A4. Okay, so all I'm doing is spraying the Pearly Winks on. So they're quite liquid. Okay, the further you go away, you get different looks, but the colours are beautiful. And I think it was the lovely Sue that got in touch, and she said she struggles to get the drip technique. We're going to come to that one shortly, but I just want to do this one so I can start getting it dry. But you can see how fluid on how wet these come out. Okay, and then, as if I haven't put enough watery ink on there, I'm just going to go in with my water spritzer and add a bit more. So I'm really soaking this card. Now, yes, you can force dry this with your heat gun, but I don't want to waste time doing that. So I'm going to let mine go to one side to dry, and we'll come back at the end and see what it's looking like. And then if not, I have got a Blue Peter moment. I have got one prepared. But what I am going to have to do is just get another messy mat. See, these Pink Frog messy mats are going to be your friend. I'm going to pop one of those on the floor so I can stand this on there to be drying while I'm busy doing some more backgrounds with you. Okay, so that is your Pearly Wink sprays. Now, that's Pearly Wink sprays. There are other inky sprays on the market that you can use, so don't be afraid to do that either. So that's your Pearly Wink sprays. Right, now let's do what's called, I like to call it a bit of a mop-up, really, but I'm going to do it slightly differently. Now, normally, I'll get my inks, okay, and I would have them on my mat and spray, and then pick the ink up with the card. But we're not going to do that this afternoon. We're going to go straight on with the cards, and we're going to make it really wet. So, another piece of my card, my 2.5p sheet. I'm going to just take some of my, again, water reactive. So I'm just going directly on. Okay, get some lovely colour on there. Bring in a bit of green. Let's have a bit of pink going on. Now, I've gone for quite bright colours, but when you're doing this at home, you can pick colours to go with the background or anything that you're actually doing. All right, so that is the nice thing about it. Let's go in with a bit of this one just to finish off. There we go. So I've got a really inky background going on here. Okay, now back in again with our water spritzer and just soak it. This is super smooth. The super smooth can take it. Don't be concerned at all. Can you see how the ink is moving as I'm doing it? Okay, that's just going to move about. So we're going from it being very harsh to being very fluid. Okay, so I can dab this down with a piece of kitchen paper. I can leave it to the one side. I can dry it with a hot glue, a heat gun is the other thing I can do. But what I am going to do is I'm going to go straight from doing something like this, because so you could let that dry. That's another technique. This time I'm going to bring in just some rock salt. Okay, just rock salt from the kitchen cupboard. And I'm going to sprinkle it on. Now, there's no rules to how much you want to put on. The choice is entirely yours. Okay, so I'm going in with just some coarse rock salt. It doesn't work with well, you can use proper table salt, but you don't get quite the same effect. You need like a chunky salt, if you like. So let's pop that to one side. Now, this is a technique you do need to let to dry naturally on its own. You can't heat dry this. So what happens, I'm going to bring it up to the camera just so you can see. So the rock salt sits on top of the super smooth. But what it's going to do is, because we put lots of water on here, and I tell you what, look, I can see that bit in the middle looking a bit dry. So let's pop some more on. Why not? It can take it. When this dries, the salt is going to absorb all the colour, and you're going to have a fabulous technique going on. So I'm going to pop this to dry, and I'm going to show you one that I did last night. My craft room is getting even messier now because I've got pieces of papers and that everywhere. So let me bring in one that I did last night because I love the rock salt technique idea. So I use different colours. So this is the rock salt technique idea. Okay, so this was done last night with the pearly I used pearly winks with this one, but this time I've used inks. You can use either or, doesn't matter. Spritz, 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 soaking wet. This is now dry. So if I lift it and shake it, can you see it doesn't move? So actually you've got all that texture on the card. Now, if you're sending cards to someone that's, say, visually impaired or something like that, it's quite nice because you've got all that texture going on. But what we're going to do is we're going to just rub it off. So we've had the inks on here, we've had lots of water on here, we've had the salt on here. I'm just rubbing it off with my fingers. So when you finish, it doesn't feel smooth. It has got more of a texture to it because the salt's gone in. But can you see the fabulous background effect you get? Now, Jackie Williams asked for lots of background techniques. So I hope, Jackie, that you've enjoying this because this is going to give you lots and lots of lovely ideas. I'm seeing if anybody else is coming up with any others they'd like to see. So that is your salt technique. Now, you get a twofer with this one because you see all this lovely coloured salt that you're left with. You can use that in your shaker cards for the bit that goes inside your shaker card. So don't throw it away. You know, as crafters, we don't like to throw anything away, but this will go in your shaker cards. So another little top tip for you. So I'm going to just fold that out the way so I can bring in another one to share with you. And I've left it in the other room on the radiator and I bet it's not dry. So, but we'll do it. And I'll see if I can run in the other room and go and get it. So, in fact, yeah, let's do this one again. The same sort of inks. Let's go for it. So I'm just gonna, let's do just a couple of colours going on there. So I'm going directly in with the ink pads. All right, no problems at all. Okay, directly on there. Okay. So lots on there. I'm going to spritz, spritz, spritz with my water again. You can see how much water I'm applying. Quite a lot of water going on. Okay. I'm going to take some regular cling film. This is regular cling film that you get just in the kitchen. Don't go and use a bit of cling film that your husband's had his sandwiches packed in to go to work. So I'm just getting a fresh bit of cling film going on. Okay. And then I can pop that into there. I'm going to scrumple it all up because I don't want it smooth. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it on to my cards. And can you see all this lovely sort of squishiness that you've got going on? Okay, that's what you want to keep. Now, this technique, again, you can't heat dry because obviously cling film is a plastic, so it wouldn't like it very much at all. But can you see you're getting all that lovely squidginess going on? Now, I'm just going to dash next door and see if the one I did earlier has dried. So just bear with me 2 seconds. Right, I'm back. I'm back. And it looks like it has dried quite well. So let me move this one to one side and bring this one in. So this is one I did earlier. So as I say, don't force dry it, okay? So let it dry naturally. And then if I peel this off, can you see the amazing background technique you get with that? Now that cardstock is still a little bit wet, no problem at all, but can you see all that beautiful marbling effect that you get going on there? Absolutely amazing. Your cling film might have a little bit of colour on, but what I do sometimes is if you just roll it up in a ball and keep it in your craft bag, you can use that again and again and again. It's not going to be something you're going to throw away, so you can use it lots of different times. Okay, so I'm going to pop that over there. I'm getting a nice pile of backgrounds here, and I'm going to put this one over here to dry and just have a little mop up again. So the next thing I'm going to look at is something really, really messy, which is fabulous. Who loves the shaving foam technique? Give me a thumbs up if you fancy a bit of shaving foam technique. Now, I've had to pinch my husband's shaving foam, so I'm going to give that a little shake. Okay. And what I like to do is, if you're working on a particular size card, you can do a rough gauge of the size you're doing. All right, so don't waste it. How do you work this shaving foam? This is all new to me. Am I going around the right way? It's because it's a new one. This could go very wrong. Oh, there we go. See, Wednesday afternoon fun. So I've got some shaving foam going on here. And I tell you what, I'm just going to... Oh, it smells nice. It does smell nice. I'm just going to spread it out a bit. It's like meringues. Isn't it fab? Just like meringues. So I'm just going to spread that out a little bit. Because I can. Okay. And now this is where you're going to need to have a liquid ink. Like your... what do they call? Alcohol wet inks. Okay. Pearlywink sprays are brilliant for this. So as I said, the Pearlywinks are available on the Pink Frog Craft Along section, and you can always pick up just a couple of colours if you want to try a couple of colours. So I've got my big box here. I'm going to take that one. What's this one? Oh, this one's orange. Let's see what this is like. Now you can spray it on or you can drop it on with this. Let's see how this is going to go. This could go all wrong because I could end up spilling it all over my counter. So you can either drop it on like that, give it a little shake side to side to wake it up, and you could just spray some on. In fact, I think that looks better. Oh, doesn't that look good? So I've got the yellow here. I've just used sweet orange. Oh, look. See, it says yellow, but it comes... Yeah, it says yellow. Chartreuse yellow, but it does come out a bit orangey. Let me have a look and see. Have I got some more? Let's put a bit of magenta in. So you can put as much... You can have so much fun with this. So I've got my sort of blob of beautiful colouredness. Okay. Pick up some of your Super Smooth. All right. I'm just going to lay it on the top. And then I'm just going to press it down very gently onto the shaving foam. Now, if you're crafting with children, they are going to love this technique. And it's great to keep kids quiet for hours, this type of thing. Do supervise them, mind you. I'm going to peel it off. And I'm just going to leave it like that there. Don't panic about that looking bad, okay? Because when you've got your shaving foam like this, you can spread it out again. And you can keep making backgrounds until you get fed up, okay? And you want to keep going and keep going. So we'll do one more. Let's bring in some other colours. Let's have a bit of that purple one again. And then I'm having a look to see if I've got enough of this blue one. This one is Blue Grotto. Oh, look at that. That looks a bit of a sort of frozen type colour going on here. And I am going to pick up... No, I won't have that one. I've got boxes of colours here. It's amazing. Where are we? Now, we had that one. Let's bring in... Now, look at that. It looks nothing in there, does it? Give it a little shake to wake. And you've got that lovely... This one is Gold Shimmer. So let's pop a little bit of gold shimmer just to... Doesn't look a lot. I can see it on here. I don't know whether you can see it reacting. So it'd be interesting to see what that comes out like when we add our card. So I'm going to do one more of those. And then we'll clean this up. So just let it sit for a minute just to absorb the ink. Okay, that's what you're going to do. And I'm going to just peel that off that way. Now, can you see I've got a gap there where it didn't get enough foam? Just go in and press it again. Won't hurt. Right, let me clean my mess up. This is where you need a presenter to talk while you're doing it, but you'll have to put up with me talking. So I'm just going to scrape this up with my ruler. Look at that. It looks like an ice cream sundae, doesn't it? Oh, yes. So let's just... let's just try and tidy that up as best I can. Let me get another sheet of kitchen paper. Oh, see, who said crafting's boring? Of course it's not. When you've got some Super Smooth and some inks, you can have so much fun. Honestly. If you feel down, this is the sort of thing you want to do to put a smile on your face, because you will have so much fun. So, okay, so I've done that one. I'm now going to take my ruler again. Now I've got a metal ruler. It doesn't matter if it's metal. It doesn't matter if it's plastic. Anything at all will work. So just squish it and make it go flat. I'm going to get my nail under there. And all I'm going to do is just scrape it. Oh, wow. What do you think to that? Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? So let me just wipe that off. Okay. And then what you can do, it won't hurt the Super Smooth because it's all dry. And I'm just wiping that now with that kitchen roll. And there is my lovely background technique done. Now, it feels quite damp, but this card has not got any peeling going on, you know, any bobbling going on. There's nothing happening there. It is sitting quite happily, minding its own business, no problem at all. And that is testament to the quality of the cardstock. So let's just do this one while we're here before we move on to our next technique. But whatever colour you do this, however you sort of squidge it about, you're going to get a different look every single time. And that is the nice thing about it. Let me move my ruler out the way. Okay. So let's move that. And can you see that's got a softer look? So that was the first, what I call first generation. That's bringing it in again. But you get two totally different looks out of one squirt of a little bit of your shaving foam. Honestly, when I do backgrounds like this, I tend to have an afternoon and I just get in the craft room and I just make lots of messy backgrounds. I've got them all laying about on my messy mats on the floor, so they can dry naturally. Yes, you can force dry it with no problem at all. No problem at all. But you can see how fabulous that they look. The card, no problem. Nothing going on here. Looks absolutely amazing. So that's your shaving foam. So let me pop that up there. Just wipe down again quickly. Now let's have a quick look at stenciling. Okay, let me wipe my mat. So stenciling. Now you'll know that we do the stencil film. So Kimberly will bring up the stencil film that we have. Now with your stencil film, you will see Claire has done, used hers with her die cutting, not a die cutting machine, her electronic cutting machine to make her own stencils. Now this one, I actually die cut out of a die. This is a background die, and I was trying to find my background die that it came from. And of course, it's going to be the last place that I'm going to look. But it's a background die, so it's similar to this type of thing. So you have a big background die, okay, and then you can use your stencil film to make your own stencil. So if you don't have a electronic die cutting machine, you can still make stencils with your dies. So I'm going to pop this on here, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to use some of our repositionable tape. Remember I used that the other day, just to hold everything in place as well. I'm going to pop a piece on the bottom of my card just so it doesn't go walk about my desk. And then I'm going to use another piece to hold the stencil in place. Now, you don't have to hold the stencil in place. Not at all. You can just hold it with your fingers. The choice is yours. But if you're concerned, put a bit of the repositionable tape down. I think we've got it. This doesn't come in a holder like this, but we've got the Scotch repositionable tape, haven't we? Now, when you've got stencils like this, you could use things like your gilding, your texture glitter pastes. You can use inks. You can use anything you wish. So I thought I've used the pads. This time I'm going to go in with a brush. So any of your craft brushes that you've got, I know there's lots again out there on the market. So I thought, let's try something different. So let's go in with a brush this time. And I'm going to go in with a bit of a two-tone colour combination. So to give you an idea of how that is going to come out. Okay. So let's pick up a little bit of this colour first. And I'm going to go sort of at an angle. So again, on your super smooth, you can build up the depth of colour to your choice. This is just going on with a brush. I could quite easily go on with my blending tools like I have done. Okay, I'm going to wipe that on my microfiber mat or cloth, and then I'm going to pick up the other colour now and move that, and then just bring that down just so you can see how beautifully it takes off. Okay, I think that's enough. So I'm going to peel back my stencil, and look, you've got that lovely background going on just very simply. So all we've used is the stencil film. So I can peel that away there. I can wipe my stencil film just with a baby wipe, let it dry naturally, and you'll use that again and again. Okay, so it's not a one-trick pony. And then if I pick this up off here as well, I've got a lovely background going on there, no problem. I could have used my stencil actually over the top of what I'd done with the shaving foam. This is where you can build up the colours to what you want them to be. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to look at is embossing as well. I thought we're going to start with a bit of dry embossing. Okay, I'm going through my cards here. I haven't forgotten we've got to do lots. There's still a few techniques I want to do. So I've got myself an embossing folder that went somewhere really safe that I haven't got round to putting anywhere. Here it is. So I've just picked up an embossing folder, and I'm going to take a piece of my card. Now, it was, who was the lady that asked about, it was Jacqueline that wanted to know how to do the embossing and putting the wax over. Now, when you're embossing with Super Smooth, you can do what's called letterpress technique. You can do just normal dry embossing. You can do anything you like. So I thought what we'll do is we'll do a little bit of the letterpress technique and put, because Jacqueline asked about having the gilding wax over the top. So with letterpress, you just take your ink pad and you just rub it over your embossing folder. I'm going to do both sides because sometimes the deboss looks just as nice as the emboss. So I'm just keeping it flat. Okay. And laying that on there. Once you lay your Super Smooth into your embossing folder, don't move it. So I'm going to just lay that down, fold that over, and I'm going to pass that through my die cutting machine. So just give me a moment. Okay, there we go. So if anybody needs any Gemini cutting mats or anything, I know Pink Frog, we also have those on the website. So that is one side, that's your deboss. And then if I turn it over that way, look at that. Doesn't that look amazing? So this is a 3D. Just want to say it again, a 3D embossing folder with that Super Smooth. It just takes it beautifully. Okay, it's nice and flat, it's not wrinkled up. So not only has it been embossed with a 3D embossing folder, but I've also used ink on it as well. And now I'm going to add, it's all right, all my baby wipes are flying out everywhere. Now I'm going to add some gilding wax as well. So I'm just wiping my embossing folder with my baby wipe. I'm using water reactive inks, but it just is good housekeeping just to do it as you go along, because some inks have got a higher pigment and they will colour your embossing folder. Okay, so that's that. So we're going to bring in now some gilding wax. Now when you're using gilding wax, the best thing I find is to use my sort of that middle finger. Okay, because it's flatter. when you use your index finger, you tend to apply too much pressure. You don't want to apply too much pressure. So I think it was Jacqueline that asked me this one. So I always take a little bit with my middle finger. Okay. Try and use your finger because it's a wax and the heat of your body, it softens it back up. Okay. It makes it melt. And then I'm going to go right in this far corner and I'm just going to rub it on my mat. This is where your messy mat comes in. Just rub it on your mat, and by doing that I'm spreading the ink, okay, over the surface of my finger. And then just lightly just rubbing it over, and it will pick up the raised areas on your embossing folder. So no problem at all picking up those beautiful raised areas, and that is as easy as it is to do. So top tip is use your middle finger, get it on your mat and get it warmed up and get it going. Okay, and then just keep your finger flat. I sometimes sort of cross it over like that and just gently rub it over. Now the heavier you go, you can make it look more like metal. So if I go in here quite heavy this time at the top, just so you can see, you can give it the look of a metal. So again, a bit like with ink, your choice entirely if you want to go for a lighter look or a heavier look. It doesn't really matter, okay? You can choose which you prefer to do. So I'm just going to finish that off there. So you can see you've got a lighter look or a heavier look. Let me just wipe up my messy finger. All right, so let's just wipe that away. See, your mat, it all comes off. Now, if you are concerned with getting inks and stuff from your mats, from your fingers, if you're washing your hands after doing lots of messy things like this, I would recommend olive oil soap. Okay, if you've got somebody that's going abroad, get them to pick you up some olive oil soap or hand sanitizer, because you can just pop a bit of hand sanitizer on. We know how good it is for killing germs, but it's great for cleaning up your mat as well. So hand sanitizer. So little top tip there. See, all off beautifully. So you've got the sort of stronger metal look and you've got the lighter look. So depending on what projects you're doing, you can choose how you want to do them. Right, I'm going to do the drip technique next, which was the lovely Sue. She asked about the drip technique. And this is the thing, if anybody wants to see anything particular with anything at all, please don't forget to go to the Pink Frog or Pink Frog's Inspirations and leave a little post on there. All the design team are there. I'm there, Claire's there, Kimberly, Gwen, all, and Mr. Pink Frog, all from the office. So go there and then you can have a you know, ask questions and we can help you out. I'm going to stick with a couple of inks. I'm just going to do a couple of drips. I'm going to show you with inks and I am going to show you with, let's pick out some pearly winks. So Sue was saying she struggles to get the right consistency. So I'm going to show you how you can do it with inks, but I'm going to show you how you can do it with your pearly winks, because Sue, you may find the pearly winks work better for you. So you can do it in several ways. You can wet the card and do it, but I'm going to pop a little bit of ink just on the top there. And then I'm going to bring my paintbrush and I'm just going to dribble, get that nice and wet. And then if you tilt your card and just tap it, I should have something to tap it with and I haven't. Let me find my tweezers, they'll do. And just tap it Just at an angle, don't go mad. It'll find its way and it will drip. Can you see? We've got another one coming just down there. So you can just keep adding water so you get that lovely drip effect. Let me wipe that piece off down the bottom. So let's do that again. So you just go on quite heavy with the ink. Soak it with water. Now, if you've got liquid inks like, what am I thinking of? Alcohol ink refillers or your sprays, you can do that with it. So just tapping it. This one, the pink one's taking a little bit of time. So I'm just going to add a little bit more water in there to get that going. That's not wanted to get going today. Here we go. That's really, really being stubborn. So you can do it with your normal ink pads. But Sue said she was struggling with consistency. So I'm going to pop that there. And let's now have a look at doing it with the Pearlywink sprays, because you might find that works a little bit better for you. So I'm going to, in fact, I'll spray it on my mat. We could have done with a double hour of this. I've got so many more techniques still to show you. And I'm going to run out of time because I've just looked at the clock and I want to show you that box. So I've just got some of my Pearlywinks out. I'm going to get another piece of cards. Get my paintbrush. Get that a bit wet. Bring it in. And you might find this a bit easier to do. So like this. I'll do the other colour next to it at the same time. It's hard to show at this camera angle. I hope you're seeing it. But you can see the idea that you're going to get. Okay, so it's just going to keep dripping down. So you can do it with your Pearlywinks. You can do it with your normal ink pads. Let me just wipe up that little bit of mess there. And I'm going to bring one in that I've done earlier as well. Let me just wipe that up. I mean, I'd do a mop-up technique if I wasn't doing that at all. But you can, this is the technique that Sue was after seeing. So this is with oxide inks. I think I've done this one, feeling it. It feels like the oxide inks, but you've got your drips. So you can just build them up. Now, Sue said she worries about it. So personally, what I would do is do a couple and then add the next ink. So rather than trying to do them all in one go, do a few at a time. So you might find that a lot easier. Okay, so let's pop those to one side. Oh, there's still so many to show, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off now with the box, and then I'm going to flick through my charts because there is lots more techniques that I still haven't even shown you. But I'm hoping that you're seeing the versatility of having the super smooth and how much you can actually throw at it before, you know, it doesn't peel, it doesn't do anything. It just works beautifully. So let me wipe that down. So I said I was going to show you a different box. So my one down there is still wet, but I've got another one here. Again, this was soaked with the Pearlywink sprays and water, and I've left that overnight. So you can see, yeah, you've got a little bit of rising, but you know, it's not dead flat, but that's fine because it's soon going to be dead flat. But even with spraying on this and soaking with water, I can still make a box. So I'm going to show you a different box than we did last week. Again, this is just your A4 card. Okay, so this is your 21 centimeters, and I'm just checking my measurements. by, it should be 29 and yeah. It's a lot easier in America. They just do it by 30. A lot easier. 29 and I think 3/4 off the top of my head. So I'm going to turn it over. All right. So I'm going to find my scoring tool, get my bone folder. So Pearlywink sprays, water. I'm going to score this on 3 inches on all 4 sides. So you can see where crafting crosses over, because we made boxes last week. You can use your super smooth. I would say for boxes, super smooth, you want to go 300, 350. You could go down to 250, but 300 to 350 is the better. And then you're going to, on the short side again, you're going to do 9 centimetres on both sides. It's better just to keep it simple. So 3 all the way round, then 9, and then 9. Okay. So let's give this a score. So bear in mind, this has had all this treatment on it. Okay, so let's see what the super smooth does now, even with all that treatment going on. No problem at all. Can you see there? No problem with the burnishing and my bone folding, and you know what I'm like when I'm bone folding. Okay, so bringing those all together. So we did pizza boxes as one of the boxes that we did on last week's live. Okay, so this is a pizza box, but this is a pizza box that Mr. Pink Frog wanted me to show you, because he thought for all you lovely ladies that do market, do sort of craft fairs with jewellery, this would work really well if you have necklaces to sell. So I think we worked it out, wasn't it, Mr. Pink Frog, that this is roughly, well, it is 10p a sheet, 10 pence. You can decorate it any way you like. I've given you a few ideas this afternoon of how you could decorate this. Okay. Bear in mind, 10 pence a sheet. So all I'm going to say to you, where could you buy a gift box for 10 pence? Can't, can you? No, can't get a box for 10 pence. Teachers' gifts. You know, if you're in the brownies or a guide leader and you're doing Mother's Day gifts for the children to do, 10 pence a sheet. Absolute dream. So let's move these out the way. Let me get my glue. So you'll see I've scored it, no problem at all. Now I've sprayed with Pearlywinks watered, let that dry. I could over stamp on this as well. So that's something else you could do. All right. So the super smooth takes quite a lot. So don't be afraid of it at all. You know, it's perfect as well for making card fronts. It's perfect for making card blanks. And you know, at Pink Frog as well, we always bring you lots of different sizes of card blanks, which we do. Okay, but we're giving you the offer today is on the A4. All right, so your A4 works out at 10p a sheet if you get the discount. Now, don't forget, while I'm popping this together, that if you've signed up for our newsletters, you get a newsletter each month with a monthly discount code. The code changes each month. The code will give you 10% off anything on the website. So please don't forget to use your code. Now, if you would prefer to ring and speak to somebody, you can do as well, because you can still use your 10% discount code over the phone when you ring Pink Frog. And if you go to the website, the phone number is on there as well. Now, can you see what Mr. Pink Frog was getting at here? This makes a fabulous little box for necklaces, for treats, but it's a little pencil style box. Now, if you have somebody that's really into their stationery, you could even do some pens, a rubber, you know, and do a little stationery box. But this is going to give you a different box. So that is made out of a 10p sheet, 10-pence sheet of Super Smooth that's inked over. And this one is made out of that lovely, I'm not sure if we've got any of the green left, that green rainbow. Okay, as well. So I'm going to turn the camera around because I've gone over time. And I'm going to flick through for you some of the other things that I had to share with you. Let me turn the camera around. There we go. Oh, that's it. It's all going to fall off now, isn't it? Let me move my device out of the way. So yes, you've got two fabulous box ideas, 10-pence, and I think this worked out when we had the offer at 50p. So if you got that, cracking. So let's go through a few more of the techniques that I haven't got round to showing you because there's lots. So we got the string technique. So this is getting a really thin piece of string and dipping it in your ink or your paint, popping it as a sandwich and dragging that. I think we're going to have another day on techniques, Mr. Pink Frog, because there's so many. This one was painting flowers with a balloon or a sponge as well. You can do that technique. Okay. I think I used a balloon. It die cuts beautifully. This is a really fine die cut. This is one of our Pink Frog Angelina Butterfly. I think it's Angelina Butterfly, or is it Angelica Butterfly? Kimberly will correct me. But I love this die from Pink Frog. But look at the detail. Die cut's an absolute dream. This is your acrylic paint with texture over the top. So this is acrylic paint directly onto Super Smooth, like you'd paint a wall. So this is your acrylic paint, and it no problem at all. Keeps it nice and flat, no problem at all. And I even put some gilding wax over the top of that as well. That was your, I did a colour wash background on this one and then went over with the gilding wax. You can see all that detail going on there. This is all Super Smooth. That was the embossing folder that we did. We did the embossing folder for, I'm trying to think of the lovely lady Jacqueline with the gilding wax on the top. You saw that one. That's the Joseph technique. So this is taking Super Smooth, covering it with ink pads, heat embossing your butterflies, and then going over the whole again with a black ink pad. So you're throwing a lot at Super Smooth to do that technique, and it works. So we'll just flick through some of the others. We've got the drip technique. We've got your texture paste, and you can make your homemade texture paste from acrylic paint, corn flour and ink. Okay, so that's texture paste. Doesn't crack or anything, no problems. That's your shaving foam. We've got the lovely salt technique. We've got the cling film technique. We have those fabulous Pearly Wink sprays. The faux leather. We have the blending of the inks. We have the colour washing as well. And then with colouring, you can do your water resist. So you do a water resist. So you've got that heat embossing. We didn't do heat embossing. There's heat embossing as well that you can do. Okay. You've got your stamped image directly on and then spritz with water. So if you don't like colouring, that's a great technique. Alcohol pens, watercolour pencils. You've got your wet on wet technique with your heat embossing, and you've got your normal colouring pencils. And that's just a few. And then there's another quick one here I was going to share with you. We'll do it another day. That's the stamping technique. So if you don't like colouring, this is just using baby wipes and your ink pad to colour. Straight on top of the super smooth. Comes out an absolute dream. So don't forget to grab yours while the offer is on. The offer is on until Friday. And don't forget to check your emails if you've signed up to the Pink Frog newsletter, because you'll get your 10% discount code in there. So don't forget to use that as well. YouTube channel, if you haven't signed up to the Pink Frog YouTube channel, please do, because you can go back and we're putting also on there some past create and craft shows that Pink Frog have done. So there's lots of techniques to be found there as well. Claire will be back with you on Monday and I think Wednesday next week. Okay, I won't be back with you next week. I'm finishing work on Friday to spend a bit of family time with my family for Christmas, but I'll look forward to seeing you in the new year. So I'm going to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Thank you for joining me with the craft alongs and joining Pink Frog. And I will look forward to seeing you next year. But I know the lovely Claire will look forward to seeing you next week. So bye for now.